I am Abigail Soloria, a Latina woman and fourth year medical student from the University of Arizona College of Medicine, Phoenix. This is my elevated story. When I looked at doctors, the very few instances that we would go to the doctor's office, um, to me, it was like their white coat was like a superhero cape. I just was fascinated by their line of work. And I realized that, physicians were more than just what you saw in the clinic or in the hospital. It was really the things that they did outside and the advocacy that they did. And so I was really drawn to being able to pursue a career that had that responsibility to take care of your community beyond just kind of a clinical setting. And so that passion never died out. From a very young age, I kind of made the commitment that I wanted to pursue medicine. Growing up, I had a cousin who was diagnosed with autism, and that opened a whole different world of barriers for us, just language barriers, financial barriers, ensuring that he had proper access to care. To me, that was where my passion really started in terms of wanting to be a provider for my community, being able to share the same values as my patients and kind of extending my service beyond just improving the health outcomes, but rather trying to create actionable steps to address these inequalities that we see in our community and advocating for that kind of equity for all. Growing up, I was raised in an underserved community in Central Phoenix. So my surroundings were, poor infrastructure, and often people were working multiple minimum wage jobs just to make ends meet. And so that was the way of life that I really knew. My mother raised me, and she always instilled in me to celebrate the differences that I saw in my community, and the different backgrounds and people that we were around. Going into school, I didn't really have anyone I could lean on or ask for support in terms of kind of my professional path, because I was the first one in my family to go to college and pursue that higher education. So there were many times that, counselors would encourage me to pursue a different career. And you often feel a little discouraged because you don't feel like you're getting the proper guidance, despite having all that passion. And so there was a few members in my immediate circle who really pushed me to keep trying and look for different ways and different avenues to get to where I wanted to be. And ultimately, I found a great network of support, but it's often that you just have to face that adversity straight on. And, your background and your upbringing doesn't define you in any way. If anything, it really makes you a really valuable and special person to enter this field, which, requires you to connect with different types of people from all different backgrounds. Financially speaking, it doesn't only create a burden for you, but also your family and your loved ones and anyone that's trying to support you along the process. I feel very fortunate that my family, specifically my mom, always let me know that if this was something I wanted to do, we were going to find a way. Whether that meant she was working overtime, whether that meant I picked up part-time jobs. Um, she never wanted me to feel like financially that would become the barrier that would be between me and pursuing my lifelong dream. And so you kind of take leaps of faith along the way, hoping that your efforts are going to be compensated and that your family will feel supported as well. I am so ecstatic to be a part of this program, not only because it allows me to explore mentorship and have resources that'll help me in the future, but because now I'm a part of a community that has a message that I believe in so strongly. It's kind of like the culmination of so much time and effort and love and support that has been poured into my life. And looking back on the challenges that felt impossible at one point to overcome, now those were the setbacks that really propelled me forward. So um, I have a unique story, and a lot of our patients in the future will have unique stories to tell. So I think it's important to kind of learn from each other and just deliver this message, loud and clear, that when you have a seat at the table, you are to use your voice proudly and lift others and advocate for change. So I think we can now see that these big dreams can turn into very big things when we all come together as a community and support one another. And I'm really excited for this next year and what I can do once I graduate medical school, which will be in hopefully the next year.